on the internet these days, or even our real lives, more and more people, as this world is becoming more social media, internet-y, people think it's a natural birthright to criticize those who put themselves out. When I say put yourself out, not in a negative way, but in a way that, you know, you post pictures on Facebook, you have an Instagram account. There are young girls who are, you know, just modeling, people like me who are broadcasting, people like you who are doing training content. We're the ones who are putting our face to our content and exposing ourselves. Well, people, on the other hand, there are people who do nothing, but they just sit there and attack and criticize everybody else. It's not bullying, but in a way it is. So how does one handle, I mean, should we give value to this criticism? Should we care what people think? Or how do we deal with the reactions?
Wow, that's a really interesting question, and it's interesting because there's so much, you know, you go online and you see anything, and there's a lot of talk about, you know, not caring about other people's opinions, and I don't agree with that. So, and I say that because there are certain people that I actually do care about their opinion. The people in my close circle, I actually do care about their opinion, and that they're in my close circle for a reason. As far as, you know, other people, I guess what it comes down to is, I mean, do you think people would say the same things if they were face to face?
I do this very often. All the abuse, you've seen my Facebook timeline. I get some serious abuse, and I get threats, and I get really nasty stuff. And I keep telling people, hey, listen, have the courage, say this in a video, and please send it to me, and I will share it in my vlog without editing it. Whatever you want to call me, whatever you want to call me, just do it with your face in it, do a video and send it to me. Never comes though.
Yeah, and it's interesting when you challenge people to do that. You know, they oftentimes don't. And you know, here in the United States, you know, we have our First Amendment means that you can take and say of our Constitution, you have the freedom of speech. The interesting thing is we also have something called your Miranda rights, which nobody seems to use. And the Miranda rights mean you don't have to talk. It gives you the right to remain silent. Yeah. So it's just interesting because, you know, we all have opinions. I think the biggest question is why do they all need to be shared? And why do they need to be shared publicly? I think for me, I guess to me, it feels more like a tax. And I think what is happening in some cases is people are using other people's feeds and social media content to further their own business interests. Have you seen anything like that?
Or to just feel better about themselves.
Sure.
I'll use my own content as an example, and I feel sorry for a lot of these people. So I've recorded a video. It took me 30 minutes to record it. It took me 1 hour to edit it. It took me 15 minutes to upload. All the hard work that goes on into doing this, and this person does nothing. Has a fake picture as a display picture. Has probably got a, you know, Sally Pants 39. As Gary Vee says it, you know, Sally Pants 44. And this person is just cussing and abusing people and copy pasting nasty stuff. And at times I DM them and I say, I mean, you know, come on, do something more constructive with your life. Lady Gaga once said in one of her interviews, so the interviewer asked her, how do you feel when people say you're a hermaphrodite? And she said, well, I respect opinions of people I respect. So that was a great learning for me, and suddenly I realized I don't know these people, they don't know me. Whatever they're saying about me is really just about them. It's not about me, and they're trying to feel better about themselves because they haven't done anything. They've done nothing with their time or life. So this is their achievement that they want to cut me down to size. Now I'm going to ask you a question, since you do a lot of speaking. My experience has been whenever I go to speak for an audience, be it 10 people or 500 people, there will always be 1 or 2 people who come there with the only purpose and intent of just cornering you and cutting you down to size and making a fool of you. So they can go back to the friends and say, hey, look, you know, I had this big speaker and I shut him up. What's your experience on that?
Yes, you know, and that's an interesting, you know, as a speaker, that really kind of messes with your psyche a little bit, you know, when you're up on stage. And I can honestly say, I've never done a speaking event where people have not gotten up and left. And even online, I kind of use it as a barometer. So if people have negative comments, I kind of use that as a barometer. Now, personally, I don't, my job, I don't need to engage in the political discussions and a lot of conversation about current events. So I try to just stay away from the politically charged topics. However, I mean, in your line of work, that's kind of, it's always kind of present in what you do. So for me, I look at it as a barometer of what content people actually like and what they will interact with. And I am of the belief that at the end of the day, FQ, if you're going onto my site or any of my channels and trashing me, I really appreciate it because it's great for SEO ratings. So
absolutely.
So
you know what? It's
engagement is engagement.
Absolutely. About 4 weeks ago, over the years, I've been on Facebook for the longest time, and over the years, I just keep blocking anyone abusive. And about 4 weeks ago, I was in Malaysia, and I actually did this video where I went in, and in one click, I unblocked about 4,000 people. Now, the only reason I did that was screw them. If they cuss and abuse, now, okay, when I was blocking them, I was younger, I was a little more sensitive and touchy. Now I'm, smarter about it. I said, hey, traffic. So
right.
People cussing and abusing, even if the fake accounts, Facebook sees 5,000 comments or 600 comments. It's like Facebook starts promoting that video more. So yeah, bad comments are fantastic for your rating. But you said I do generally. No, my public speaking events are usually about change, about life, about young people, universities, how to do better in your lives. But there are always people, at least in our culture, where, and I feel sorry for them again, that they need to attack people just to feel better about themselves, I guess. But that's unfortunate. Now, going forward, what advice would you give to people who are creating content, who are posting, who are putting pictures, or just interacting under somebody else's content in comments, and they get attacked and they get bullied? How would you advise them?
Well, I think that's a very individual. It's always an individualized response to that. And so for me, and like I've mentioned previously, it's understanding yourself and acknowledging who you are. I'm very prone to arrogance, and so for me, it's easy to sit back and read the comments that people put, and truthfully, I laugh at them and I just think that they're basic. And so it's kind of adopting a mindset of just simply saying, you know what, I'm doing this for engagement. Otherwise, what you're trying to do, truthfully, FQ, I appreciate people attacking me more than putting content out that nobody even sees. So it's just kind of shifting your mindset of like, what is it that you're actually trying to accomplish by putting the content out? When I put content out, like, it's simply to say, I'm looking for engagement. So engagement, I got what I want, which is engagement. So it's really just kind of, as far as like a tool, I don't know that there really is one. I don't think this is about resiliency. I don't think it's about having thicker skin. I'm a big believer that words actually do hurt more than physical harm or anything like that. Words are very powerful, and it's understanding. Go back to your Lady Gaga example. I respect the opinions of those people that I actually respect. People online, I mean, seriously, probably 95% of the people that are on my feeds, I don't have a personal knowledge or connection with. I think, to me, the easiest thing to remember is that is about them. And truthfully, when I get upset about something, that's making it about me. And I'm okay to let other people have their moment. It kind of goes back to the concept of, when somebody says to you, "Oh, are you trying to make me look stupid?" No, you don't need any help with that at all. So let people to their own devices, and they'll end up eliminating themselves.
And now being defamation is no longer defamation. The more you defame me, the more fame I get. So yeah, I have become thick-skinned, but I'm going to plug in what Gary Vaynerchuk says. He says, it doesn't matter what you say about me. I have no self-esteem issues. I know who I am.
Right.
I don't care what you think about me. And as Buddhism says, if somebody calls you dog and you start looking for your tail, you know you're a dog.
Right. And
So
I agree with that 100%. And that is that it's becoming comfortable with who you are and who you are as a person, acknowledging who you are. And really, I mean, I guess the biggest question is if you're being attacked online, I mean, is your opinion really your opinion, or are you that easily swayed? I can tell you with the content I put out, there is no doubt in my mind that I am absolutely correct. So like it, dislike it, I know for me, it is correct. So I think really it just comes down to a mindset of that, yes, I do care about what other people say, but from a perspective of how can I increase my engagement? And there's sometimes, like you said, Donald Trump happened to the world, the rules of communication have completely changed.
Yeah.
They have completely changed. And, we're living in a world right now that's just full of hyperbole and personal attacks and finger pointing. And so I think when you see, it makes it very easy. It makes it very easy for younger people to just follow suit. I mean, that's the example that they're seeing. So if the people in the highest office can speak this way and they act this way, well, that must be how I should do it too. So it's really interesting to see.
Even if it's not how you should be, it is something that you can be if needed. So
yes.
Being a public profile, a lot of people come to me, oh, you are a public personality and you need to do that. I'm like, I don't need to do jack do. I do whatever the hell I want to do. Right. So just like last week, this person was trying to say, oh, you are a broadcaster and you are a public profile. You need to invest. Like, I don't need to. No. He says, he says, why don't you need to? Because I said, because you haven't paid me enough. Pay me and I might do it for you. Otherwise, I will do whatever the bloody hell I want to do.
Yes.
But this stance comes with a lot of, I wouldn't say maturity. I would say after having been beaten for many years, you eventually learn that, you know what, to hell with them. I know who I am. I'm going to plug in another book here. What's his name? It's called The Four Agreements by Miguel something. It's a very interesting book and I recommend people to read it. So one of the four agreements is don't take anything personally. If somebody calls me a jerk, it's not because I'm a jerk. It's because, he's having issues in his own life. So everything we say is because of who we are. So once you understand that, there's nothing personal about it, man. You just SEO, that's all you are.
Absolutely. No, I like that a lot. And I think when we talk about taking things personally, I mean, for me, a mindset that I've had to adopt in that is that, you know what, DT, you're not as important as you think you are. So every time we make something about ourselves, a comment that somebody else makes, I mean, I guess it's like this. I don't know. Are you really bullying me? I don't feel bullied. I think you're being an idiot. So, I mean, it really just comes down to, I think FQ, in my perspective, a lot of this is, I'm coming up on my 50th birthday. I have actually had major peaks and valleys in my life. I have had hardcore crash and burn failures. So, I've been at the bottom. So your comments really aren't going to do anything to me, because one, you're not that important to me, and two, I'm not as important as I think I am. In that, I don't know, is your comment directed at me, or are you just talking trash? I know go ahead.
You talked about writing a blog or putting out content that that's right. I want to just add something to it. I do a lot of content, I get a lot of criticism, I get a lot of feedback. So I gauge, and I'm telling this as advice to people who are doing something publicly and getting comment and feedback. You have to see who is making that comment. So if the person making the comment is called, Black Mamba 32, ignore this person. But if it's a Jennifer Chang with a decent photograph there, and if you click on the profile and you see, it's a normal person, Listen to what they're saying. Their feedback may be of value. So you have to see, in today's world, you can't just be comfortable with your brother and sister and mother. You have to see who is commenting, and if somebody worthwhile, well, listen to them. Maybe they're giving you positive feedback, and maybe there's something to be learned from that.
Absolutely, and I agree. I don't always think of things as criticism as much as I do as feedback. And there's a lot of feedback. And truthfully, one of the things I do with content before I put it out, I have a group of three people. That I send my content to. And I know when all three of these people are in agreement that when I get told, do not put that out, that's terrible, I know I've got a winner. So sometimes we get feedback from people based on not necessarily what we want to hear, but based on what we need to hear. So I completely agree, and I've actually gotten some really good feedback from people that I think what they thought that they were being abusive or snarky, and really it ended up adding tremendous amount of value.
Even very negative criticism, but it's of great value depending on who it's coming from and what value. If somebody's saying, oh, you're a jerk, you're an asshole, you're trash, ignore it, man.
I completely agree, and it really depends for me. It depends on the approach that the person takes, and are they being critical, or are they passing on information to help me improve? I'm always open to suggestions on how to improve. I like criticism because I like to say I hold up well under scrutiny.
Well, that's because you know who you are.
Well, I've become more comfortable with who I am. Absolutely. I've become much more comfortable with who I am, even as opposed to like 5 years ago. When I would put content out, I was, what are people going to think? What's this person going to think? And I would literally end up not putting stuff out because I was so worried about the feedback. And, but truthfully, it never really came to fruition of getting such negative feedback. I have gotten some, and truthfully, the way that people have approached that, it's comical to me. It's simply just comical to me. So I think we tend to criticize based on our own values. I think a lot of times people are critical of content creators because of jealousy. I mean, they want to be able to do that kind of stuff, and they're unable to. Or they, at the end of the day, they just know that they don't really have the balls to do it. And so it's easier to take pot shots at people that are actually doing. And, I believe in a really strong concept of, if I don't like what you're saying, I can push the button and turn you off. So I think that being offended, the person that's offended or thinks that they need to say stuff back, they have some ownership in that as well. And that's the part that often gets lost. Is I just remember they're owning that. That's on them, and it really doesn't even apply to me. It's an interesting conversation based on, especially now with people being so having to do Zoom meetings and communicate more online with all of the social distancing protocols that are in place.
Dennis, fantastic. Everyone, please subscribe to our YouTube and Facebook channels, and do send us a feedback and comments. You've got our email addresses on the screen. If you want to get in touch with Dennis, his website's there. He's an NLP master practitioner. He can help you with a lot of your stuff in life. Just if you want to get in touch with me, please do. I don't practice my NLP. I am just a broadcaster. And it's great talking to you. Well, stay at home and stay safe. Until next time.